Here we are. We're live. Reporting live from New York. New York, New York.
No, not New York. Florida.
Florida.
This time.
Everyone can watch me do my Duolingo.
No. Okay. Well.
Here we are. It's 7 o'clock on a Thursday evening. We're doing a YouTube live.
First one.
Yeah, first one. So, so we just kind of wanted to hop on here and talk about some common competition hurdles or pitfalls that you could run up against as a powerlifter or a bodybuilder. And then since we're getting into the holiday season, we're going to kind of just touch a little bit on some ways that you can make your holiday season just a little bit easier. Ways to prepare going into certain situations so that you can, plan to succeed rather than failing to plan and planning to fail. Then we're going to wrap it up with a short Q&A session for any of our listeners out there who have questions. Did I miss anything?
I think that's great.
I think it's great too. So.
And this is our whiteboard.
Yeah, this is our productivity central.
In case you're wondering.
That's one way that you can stay productive through the holidays, right? Because we're going to be very, very busy. You're going to be jumping around from one family member's dinner to the next. And having a lot more engagements makes it a little more difficult for us to maintain our, daily and weekly routine. So write it down, get it all out there. This, you can see that over here, it's the days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then we have the hours, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going the wrong way, all the way to 6 p.m. And then we try to have dinner we write it in at 6. Sometimes we don't have dinner until 7 or 8. But, that's how it goes. So, more planning equals better results. So that kind of goes into, I think, competition and holiday season preparation, right? It's just having a plan. It allows you to be able to stick to the plan. And I mean, that kind of makes logical sense if you think about it. If you don't have a plan, there's nothing to stick to. So definitely have a plan when you go into these things and just make sure that you know where you're going. And it's going to be a lot easier for you. So babe, I have a list of some things that I feel like I might have experienced when I was prepping for one of my various competitions. Do you want me to just name a couple things?
I've never had any problems.
Yeah, no, she's a perfect athlete. So. Never bad attitude. She never complains about being hungry. She doesn't mind if you eat some food around her.
Yeah.
Okay, so the very first one I have here is focusing on negatives and losing sight of your why. I think that one's really important, and I think that's probably the first one or the biggest issue that people run into. Or the biggest one that I've seen is people, when they talk about their prep, they're not talking about what they're working towards. They're not talking about how excited they are to be able to accomplish this. Generally speaking, we're focusing on, the shit that we're in right now. And
when it's hard.
Yeah. So.
Oh man, this is hard.
Yeah, and I think focusing on how hard it is, I think that's just going to be very detrimental. So, yeah. What? Go ahead.
So what do you do? Give some practical. If you're in the situation and you're starting to feel those feelings of, wow, this is really tough. What does TC do?
I talk to myself a lot. Probably to the point of insanity, if anyone knew how much was actually happening there. But that's, I think, one of the techniques that I use is I have logical conversations with myself and try to remind myself why I'm doing what I'm doing and why it feels the way it feels. And if there is something to be done, I do it, right? And if it requires more water or better carb timing or more sleep, then I make that happen. Right. We have to be very solution oriented when we run into these kind of problems. When we're having negative mentalities, we have to try to shift that into a solution-oriented mentality so that you can continue moving forward effectively. Because I think when we get focused, when we get too overly focused on what the problems are or how many things we have to deal with right now, because that's what happens is when we're thinking about it right now, we tell our brain that we have to deal with it right now. And that's not necessarily the case. So having that logical conversation with ourselves, okay, what do I need to do right this second to make a decision and be able to move forward effectively? And then as soon as the dominoes start falling, everything else is going to start to be a lot easier. Okay, we just have to get that first one down and out of the way. We have to get some task accomplished and off your plate and off your psyche so that we have that feeling of accomplishment and we have that check mark ticked so that we can move on to the next thing and feeling like we're doing something.
What's an example of where you might struggle and what you would tell yourself? Because it doesn't look like you struggle.
What do you mean?
Except when you get cranky.
Yeah, I think that's mainly the time that I struggle because I kind of like a lot of parts of prep.
He likes to challenge himself.
Yeah, one thing
a lot.
Yeah. One thing I have a hard time with is arbitrary like stress or stupidity is the way I phrase it, I think. And
so
the real world has a lot of those two things. Yeah. So if I know that I'm having an off day, I will try to limit my personal interaction and I will try to choose things on my to-do list that don't put me in that situation that I know is going to be more triggering to me right now. And then I know that I have that on my list. So I know that I eventually have to revisit this and I have to take care of these things, but I can mentally gear myself up for doing it. And I can, one, I forgot who it was who suggested it, but they suggested what's called a power hour where you take an hour of your day and you put all the shitty things that you don't want to do and you put it into that hour of your day. And you just say, okay, from this time to this time, I'm going to work on this checklist. And this checklist is full of things I don't want to do. But in this hour, this is all I have to do, 60 minutes. And then I'm done. I can move on to things I do want to do. When you sandwich it in between things that you do like doing, then you can just really plow through that. And oftentimes at the end of the hour, you can keep going because you're in the groove and it's just the starting of things. A lot of times that's difficult. And I think especially when we're tired and hungry, if it's something that we don't necessarily want to do, I think it becomes more difficult to be a self-starter for those things because you just don't have the energy, right? It's just like energy is drained. That's just the name of the game. So being energy intelligent becomes the key to winning that game, I think.
So what are some like phrases? Do you have phrases or stuff that you...
No, not here anyway.
That you...
Like mantras?
Yeah.
I say to myself, what are you here for? Very often.
Oh.
Very often I say, what are you here for? Because my mind will wander and I'll start thinking about X, Y, and Z. And even if I'm in the gym and I start thinking about my athletes, I have to tell myself, what are you here for? That's not what we're here for. And on one hand it is, right? Part of my workouts are like movement exploration and trying to figure new stuff out and trying to like learn, put things that I've seen and learned into practice and see where it can fit into a routine. But also I'm an athlete and we have to remain focused. When we go to that gym, we have to be focused on filling our cup so that we can then continue to pour into others. So yeah, I think...
What are you here for?
Yeah, I think what are you here for is probably the biggest one that I use consistently. Yeah. What about you?
I tell myself you're okay.
Everything's okay.
You're okay.
She likes hearing that.
You're okay. You're okay. Everything's okay.
You're going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine.
Most of the time it works.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes I need someone else to tell me, or sometimes I need a whole like reframing of whatever it is I'm really struggling with.
Yeah, well, sometimes we do have to sit down and talk it through. But I think that, teaching yourself how to coach yourself through those mental situations allows you to just have a lot more control over your prep and your situation, your life, and your reality while you're prepping. So I think it's good practice, and I think that you do practice that. And I think that having someone else to talk to about it who's going to be understanding of your situation. I think that that's also really beneficial. So not everyone has that benefit of having a partner at home who has also gone through the same thing. So I think it's definitely beneficial and important for athletes to talk to other athletes and make friends when they go to these competitions and these events, so that you can have that that kind of that group, right? The pack mentality, so to speak. And yeah, a lot of people get that from their coaching company as well. But when you're unaffiliated, it's it can really be tough, and it can make you feel like I'm alone, especially when you're in like a commercial gym and you're lifting heavy ass weight, or you're really dieting down, and people are telling you, "Oh, you're ready. You already did it, honey." And it's like, look, man, I still got 10 pounds to lose. Can you just like not tell me that I need to go eat some food? Because like, yeah, I'd really love to, but so everyone's gonna have something to say.
Yeah.
Everyone. And actually, that's not true. Everyone who's not doing something will have something to say. People out there doing it, they're just going to offer encouragement or say good job, and or not say anything at all, and just know that you're going through the shit. So
you're okay.
Yeah, you're okay. Everything's okay. Okay, so I think getting closer to a competition, the rest of these things that I have listed on here can also apply for any athlete, whether they're in prep season or they're in growing season or they're reversing, going through the holiday season. I think any of the rest of this list can apply. So I have loss of routine. Oh, except for this one, letting go too early. We've had some athletes who made it to weigh-ins and decided that was as far as they needed to make it. And it's tough because you just put in weeks and weeks and months of work, and you just need to hold it together for a little longer, for one more day, for a couple more hours, for one more week, and it's tough. So letting go too early is kind of, but loss of routine, trying new foods, and stressing about situations. So those are the three that I have on that.
Okay, so let's talk about one at a time.
Okay, so loss of routine. So I think the closer you get to a show, the more important routine is.
Yes.
Your body has to know what to expect if it's going to function optimally, like truly optimally. And no, for general people, you don't have to do the same exact thing every single day and eat the same foods or have the same like macro timing, because we want to maintain food variety as much as possible. But for athletes and for people who are doing something very, very specifically, that routine and that consistency allows your body to put all of its resources towards growing in the area that you want to grow. And I think that's very, very important. I think a lot of people don't understand how much benefit you can get out of developing a routine and becoming comfortable in your routine and having a routine that actually serves you, not just a routine that you want to have because it feels good or it's comfortable.
Well, also a benefit of a routine is less mental energy put towards making decisions or trying to solve a problem. Like you just move through like a system that's already in place, and especially if you're dieting or you're overscheduled or you're just stressed in general, like you don't want to have to juggle more things. Like if you can have some things just like in default, you can get through the day spending your energy solving other problems and knowing, okay, I accomplished those small details that are part of me being an athlete or being healthy or taking care of myself because they're already in play.
Yeah, you don't have to wonder about it.
Yeah,
that's a good point. It's like the cluttered desk analogy. When you have cluttered, when everything is cluttered, your brain subconsciously has to sort all of that information and has to get past it to actually do what you're trying to do. So having that clean workspace, I'm sure everyone has experienced that, right? Where you're working on something and you finally get flustered enough to stop what you're doing and clean your area and then restart. And when you restart, it just feels so much better. And that's because your brain has that much more energy to put towards what you're actually doing. And I've lived with a cluttered desk all my life, so that's one of the first things that you did. Clean my table, and I said, "Babe, oh my gosh, this table's so clean, so nice. I love it so much. Thank you."
Yes, he had a table that was very cluttered.
Yeah, I had one table.
in his living space. And I like organization and cleanliness. And it wasn't necessarily dirty, it was just cluttered.
Yeah.
And
Stuff.
I was like, oh no. So I went and organized and cleaned it up and then surprised you by cleaning a table.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was the greatest day of my life to date up to that point.
But yeah, I do feel like I work much better when stuff is not all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When we've been like traveling, I like to get my stuff in wherever we're staying and out organized in some form or fashion. Not just everything is just everywhere, because it doesn't help us like move quickly. And if we've been running events and there's tons of stuff in our house, like that makes me crazy too. Because now I have one like looking at all of this. This is all that we're doing. On top of like trying to focus on work. And
your brain just sees there's more to do. Because that's what it is. More to do, more to figure out. And it's like you said, when you get into that routine, you don't have to think about those things. You can put all of your effort, whether it's physical recovery effort or whether it's mental planning and decision-making effort. You put all of the effort towards the goals that you want to put them on. And you don't want to waste this effort, right? We only have a finite amount of effort and energy. We don't want to waste it. So we want to be very intentional with what we do and how we place those energy.
And aspects of like routine that kind of like fall into place with this analogy. Sometimes it's so simple as like, I need to make sure I'm getting protein regularly. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't have to be, I must eat this perfect meal, especially if it's holidays and things are crazy. Sometimes it's just like, I know that I look good and I feel good if I'm making sure I'm getting enough protein in my diet. Mm-hmm. Spoken from experience with recent travel. Like,
when I eat more protein, I definitely have a harder look. I definitely have a more full, filled out look. When I eat more carbohydrates and fat, I definitely have a softer look. I definitely feel weaker in the gym. Might be able to move the same amount of weight. I don't know, but I definitely feel weaker. My joints definitely have a little more tightness and stiffness and irritation. And actually, to that point, for one of my holiday hacks, I said prep a base amount of protein for each day. So like have designated meals that you're going to have, and you can work backwards too. You can say, every night I'm going to have a bowl of 200 grams of Greek yogurt, and that is how many grams of protein? Oh, I thought she'd know that because she eats that all the time, that meal.
I've actually been eating 225 grams.
Oh, okay. So I tripped her up. But that's an easy starting point, and then you can work backwards, right? And then you can say, okay, what do I have to have for breakfast or lunch or dinner to put me in a good spot to be able to eat either breakfast or dinner at so-and-so's house on this day?
20 to 24 grams of protein is the answer.
Yeah. So, and you can have you can either have snacks like that. You can have turkey bacon snacks. That's a really good snack food. That's relatively inexpensive. Usually it's $5 to $6 a pound. Usually pretty lean, has a good amount of protein.
I just know I have to eat 4 meals with protein because that's what I'm generally doing right now. And if it's like a beef or chicken, it's roughly 6 ounces.
Yeah, sometimes you can't do that though. Sometimes you won't be able. Sometimes one of those meals has to be.
What does it have to be?
I guess you can have the rest of the meals, right? So if you have one meal with a family member or something, then you need 3 more meals. Is that what you're saying?
What if they're having like turkey?
Yeah.
That's a meal.
So even if you're eating a meal with someone else, then mentally, I just need to have 3 other meals in addition to this one meal that will help me reach my protein goal.
Exactly.
So like have like and this is why we don't prescribe meal plans, or we prefer not to, right? If someone asks for a meal plan and they need a meal plan to start with, we will do that. But our goal is to teach you how to count macros for this reason, so that you can actually like be a little more flexible in your daily dieting routine. And I'm not saying dieting like losing weight. I'm just saying like how you choose, like what foods you choose to eat.
If you're on here, say hi.
Yeah. Feel free.
I've seen people on here. Please
we're just kind of sitting here talking to a screen. So
we're lonely. That's why we're really doing this, because we want company.
Yeah, Marcus left us. He doesn't do his video dinners with us, and he's too cool. He's with all his cool friends over in Kuwait. So
I think he's on here.
Yeah, so I did repost it. So, okay, another one that I have is trying new foods. Now, when you're coming into a show, definitely not the time to try new foods, even if you have a refeed. It can definitely cause. I think we just had one athlete who it caused some inflammation for, which is a really good learning experience, right? Because it didn't happen on peak week, and that's why it's a good time to like test certain things when you have either refeeds or mock peak weeks during your prep. It's a really good time to test different things so that you know how your body's going to react. But translating that to the holiday season, you're more than likely going to have some new foods. And I think it's important to just not freak out and say, oh my God, I got fat, because you didn't get fat overnight. You might have gained a little bit of, or like held on to a little bit of water weight or inflammation because the extra carbohydrates, maybe some extra salt, maybe some different food choices that you haven't had in the past. And your body's just going to react a little bit differently. I think it's important to like practice patience when we're doing that. So, yeah.
Pete,
What's going on, Pat?
Janelle.
How's it going, Pete? Janelle, everyone. I always said Pete and Janelle at the same time.
Together. Pajel.
Yeah. Okay, do you have anything to add about that thing?
Yeah, don't freak out.
Yeah, it's okay.
There's a time to be dialed in and super focused.
Yeah.
But it should be a very...
Yeah, the rest of your life should not be this uber stressful thing where we're like stressing about every single thing we're eating and hyper focusing on trying to look perfect all the time. You're a human being. Some days you're going to have some fat days. You're going to have some skinny days. It's going to be okay. Really, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And the last one I had was stressing about situations, which I know might sound weird because, like, okay, if you have a stressful situation, then how do you know?
Just don't stress.
Yeah, I say something that probably irritates Chris a lot.
Just don't stress. Or don't have a stressful life. Those are your options.
No, it's just we get to choose how we respond to any situation.
That's true.
Any given situation, we choose how we respond to it. And just like we were talking about earlier, where when we focus on the problem, I think it is a more stressful time. Whereas when we are focusing on the solution, when you're focusing on the problem, it's something happening to you. When you're focusing on the solution, it's what you're about to do to solve this problem. And maintaining that mentality and that perspective and that thought process, I think is really important in anything, not just prep, not just getting through the holidays, but really any pursuit of any goal. Maintaining that solution-oriented mentality is probably going to be one of your most powerful tools of success.
It's helpful.
Yeah.
Is it easy?
Go into these things knowing that there will be situations that have the potential to cause stress. There just will be. And we get to choose, like my second show. There were some things that happened that looking back on it, man, I'm like, why were you stressed out about that? You should have been happy. It should have been exciting. And I understand. Look, I know why I was stressing out. I was there. It was me. but there's always a reason to stress out. And then there's also a reason to be grateful or a reason to, I guess be grateful is just the key, I think. But
so I think when you're well fed and well rested and you're living a generally low stress life, it's much easier to adopt the mentality of you're okay. Everything's fine. Or being solution oriented. When you are taking on tasks that are very challenging,
when you're tired and hungry is what you're saying.
Yeah, you're tired and hungry. Little things feel much bigger.
Yeah.
But
that's the time to practice your mental fortitude.
I was going to say, I was getting there.
I know, but she got there too slow.
It's okay, first of all, because that happens to everybody. You're not just like a weak person. Every single person, Olympians talk about crying on the bathroom floor. Like, it is hard. But like challenging yourself, dieting, pushing yourself for PRs in the gym, like whatever it is that you're accepting into your life to help make you a better person, is going to challenge you in a unique way, both physically and mentally. So if it is hard, it's okay. But yeah, it is an opportunity. So I try and talk to people about that too. And if they're stressed out, like, oh my gosh, I have to go to this family dinner and my family doesn't support what I'm doing and I don't know how to like participate, but also stick to my goals. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to find a happy balance and we talk through it. So that's
Or
kind
to
of what
educate, maybe enlighten, and like get people on the same team as you, so
Yeah.
that they can actually help. Instead of just answering their questions, you can actually enlighten them, so that the next time they make a suggestion, they'll know whether or not it's going to fit your macro outline. So
I'm just sticking to what you've decided for yourself. It's a good practice. There's a lot. Like basically, it's an opportunity just to kind of like refine who you are and your challenges.
there's nothing in life worth having is easy
I stress out a lot.
when you're well fed. But like you said, it's okay. Life will be stressful.
Well, there's other stress. There's other stress. You don't always have to be dieting to be stressed out. But TC is right in that we can manage our own reactions to things, our own mentality about things, and just takes a lot of practice.
Yeah,
So.
and just sometimes feel harder than others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that was like the couple little bullet points I figured we'd go over. Kind of the low hanging fruit. I think the holiday season is tough.
Any questions? Send them our way.
Yeah. I think the main gist is obviously prioritizing protein, right? Just make sure that you're having protein with each meal. We spent some time in Washington recently, and every time my dad would like go to eat something, it would always be a carbohydrate. And I said, okay, what protein you having with that? And sometimes you would say, oh, TC's going to tell me I can't have this. And I'd say, no, you can have whatever you want. Just have protein with it. Just also have protein with it. And when you start doing that and you have the protein first, all of a sudden you're becoming more and more satiated and not craving after those snack foods as much. And it's a good self-fulfilling prophecy. So, yeah. Any questions, class?
Yeah.
Or one listener? That might be two listeners right now.
Hopefully they
Maybe
didn't see they're walking around the lake and they are hoping they don't fall in.
Yeah, well, hopefully they didn't fall in. You're our only hope.
You have to write to us so we know you didn't fall in.
2 dots if you're okay.
But yeah, we're hoping to do more of these. So if there are topics that you're interested in or you're listening to the replay of this and there's something you want us to discuss, please send us a message and we'll make more designated topics towards things you want to see. I also think it would be good to do some exercise demonstrations, bowls, so that we can talk through like cueing and different exercises. I think that would be really helpful for people. And if you can jump on here and give specific questions.
Yeah, just you can comment on
comment
on the previous, because I think we're gonna try to do this once a week.
Mm-hmm.
So comment on the previous week's live stream for if you have questions or comments, or if you want to see a live stream topic of some sort, then just comment on the previous one, and then we'll make a list. And the next time we do a live stream, then we'll go over those things too. So we'll pick up steam and it'll be great. We'll be able to just have one more little forum where we can continue to try to help share some information with you guys. Just share our experiences as coaches and athletes, which are definitely not all inclusive, but we've been around the block a couple times, so we just want to help some other people up as well.
What would be your last conclusion, your summarization, your last thing to leave?
Don't stress. You're going to be okay.
Everything's okay. Do you talk to yourself out loud?
If I'm in the gym,
I have to sometimes.
I would think that would make people not want to talk to me, because I would think it would make me look like I'm crazy, but it's like people don't care.
That you talk to yourself? That's because you're too cool.
They just don't care. They'll just talk to me anyway.
Mm.
Which, if you see me in the gym, feel free to ask a question. That's what I'm there for. Question man.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week. Good. And
but I forgot what it was. Forgot what the ending is. You put me on the spot. I wasn't ready for the ending.
oh, you said don't stress. Oh, you said thanks. Yeah.
Have a great night.